Yeah. And let me turn on the mic on here. So let's go ahead and show it's 6:30. We're going to go ahead and show we're actually getting started at 6:30. And the second item of business is we'll just go ahead and do the roll call. So,
Kelly Wire.
okay, so we have one.
Richard.
Present.
District 3, present.
Jamie.
Mike Rodriguez, District 4. Present.
And Charles Cage.
Charles Kate.
Is walking in the door.
Oh, you can go, he's going on there, so he's walking in. Okay, so let's go ahead and show Miguel on there. And we'll go ahead and proceed. Everybody can please stand, and we'll go ahead and begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, if you can please remain standing, and today's a special day, is September the 11th. Let's just do a quick little moment of silence for us to actually remember what today is all about. Thank you. Please have a seat. All right, we'll go ahead and begin, and we'll go ahead and move on to citizens to be heard. This is an opportunity for citizens, visitors, and guests to address the city council on any issue or any item of the agenda in compliance with LGC section 551.007. City council may not discuss any presented issue, nor may any action be taken on any issue at this time. Citizens to be heard are limited to 3 minutes each. Attorney General opinion JC-0169. Just double checking on here. Okay, I don't think we have anybody. Do we have anybody, citizens to be heard? Besides those that are on the agenda, going once, going twice. Okay, Annette, if you can go ahead, but none, no comments. All right, council, let's go ahead and move on to item number 5, consent agenda. A, consider the approval of the minutes. The first one that we have is August 14th, 2023.
Lynette, if you could notate on item open session B, midway in that motion, my name is misspelled, that's the Ace. Mayor, I want to make a motion to accept the meeting minutes as presented for August the 14th with the suggested.
Okay, a motion on the floor. Do I have a second?
Oh, sorry.
I have a second. Okay. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, thank you so much. Let's go ahead and move on to August 28th, 2023.
Viola, on item A, in the open items, the motion was by David Emery, and it was actually seconded by Richard Hughes, from what I remember. And Charles, you voted nay on that item. That was for the approval of the reports, the department reports. You remember, do you remember that?
Which item is that?
It's so that can be right. I don't have that in front of me.
It's not a,
Item A is not.
No, I know it's not that.
Item G. That's what I see.
Maybe that would be my thing.
That was the second.
That's when,
So the motion read was a motion was made by Alderman David Emery, second by Alderman Charles Fate to approve the item. A vote was taken, 4 ayes and 1 no. The motion was carried by all present. And from my notes, whatever item that was, Charles actually voted nay and Richard Hughes was.
oh, you're talking about the out-of-budget priorities. That's F.
Okay,
That's F.
Thank you.
So this is a consider and act upon the approval of council top 3 out-of-budget.
sorry about that. Word has a tendency to renumber.
yeah, and so the motion, people were correct on that.
Yes, it was returned.
No, I mean, it's on the minutes that I seconded.
Right.
It should be Richard Hughes.
Yes, and the nay was
The vote was taken. 4-1, motion carried. Motion still carried, right?
Yes.
Mayor, I want to make a motion to accept the meeting minutes for August the 28th as presented with the suggested amendment.
A motion on the floor, do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Got a second? Any further discussion? All those in favor?
All right.
Opposed? Thank you so much. Let's go ahead and move on to B, consider the approval of the payment of the bills.
Council, we only have like 7 bills in so far, so we'll get it in the next round.
So can I get a motion for us to go ahead and table this?
Mayor, I'll move that we table the payment of the bills to the next scheduled meeting.
I'll second that.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Any discussion? All those in favor?
All right.
Any opposed? Thank you so much. Appreciate that. Okay, let's go ahead and move on to 6, open session, take action on items discussed. The first one we have is consider and act upon the reapproval and execution of the CPS gas operations and maintenance contract. I think Matt provided a copy to us in front of us, so.
You have a new copy that I printed out that has even changed since I printed that copy and I covered that. So I'll brief on this, but our legal's here as well as CPS here to see if there's any questions. This contract is a 6-month contract for $13,000 per month, and then after the 6-month term, it will go month to month. The reason for that is CPS is, and y'all correct me if I'm wrong, they've reevaluated their core functions, and they're no longer going to provide O&M services like these outside their geographic area that they service, cities like us and other ones. In our talks with them, they're not going to leave us high and dry at the end of this, but it is forcing us to take a look and an approach at our gas system and what we want to do kind of moving forward. So the gas O&M contract you have before you, we'll go to the second to last page, page 15, the changes in it that you'll see is the highlighted area in, well, it's not even highlighted, I'm sorry. Item B under addendum A talks about the general liability insurance. It shows 2 to 4, 2 million each occurrence, 4 million aggregate. Our current policy is 1 and 2, but when I called the insurance company and we talked today about it, it would cost us an extra $200 a year to increase that limit. So I'm okay with increasing that if y'all are on the insurance coverage. The other item that did get deleted is item D, excess liability coverage of $1 million. Our provider, TML, doesn't even provide that. So in talking with CPS Energy, they've agreed to remove that outside of that, that is the policy or the contract we have with CPS moving forward. So it'd be my recommendation, we approve it, keep them on for the 6 months and then go to month renewal after that until such time we find another O&M provider or we do something else with our gas system.
And council, it's the same agreement that the city has previously had for several years with CPS, that the revisions that Matt has presented are the only changes between the current contract and the proposed. So it's the same, just shorter term.
Mayor, I move that we approve this contract with the changes that were mentioned by Mr. Deal.
Okay, for the adjustment of the insurance.
Right.
Okay.
I was gonna say that.
One second. Okay. Discussion. Any questions on this one?
If I might ask of the CPS folks, you're not gonna leave us high and dry. Can you translate that, please? Give us an example of what you might be willing to do.
Well, good evening, Mayor and Alderman. Thank you for letting us be here this evening to talk about this contract. We've had a great partnership with the city of Lionel. And, you know, that's very important to us. You know, this is really a change in you know, kind of our, or a refocus on our core business. But our commitment is to work through a transition until that transition is complete. And you know, we've had a long history of, you know, partnering together, and we are there to support anything that you need to the extent that we can possible this kind of transition. And so that is our commitment. We want to continue in our relationship. We continue to serve electricity to the city of Lytle, and you know, this long partnership is very important that it continues.
We've actually had, council, we've had some different discussions, just being able to take a look at this contract to make sure that we've had everything lined up. They've been helping us out just to make sure that we took everything into consideration. And I know in the past, the way that they actually react, you know, to different things have always been there. And I'll use the example of a couple of years ago when we actually had that incident out in the field where we were connecting external tank to be able to run the testing on our lines. And CPS actually showed up and went ahead and took care of our customers during that time. And that's all of our customers. They had to go ahead and secure the situation and then go house by house, business by business, and go ahead and relight light them and get it reconnected. No questions asked, nothing. You know, everything was taken care of. Richie had a lot of people over in his building during that time, and that's where we all decided that we needed to have a different emergency operations center, and we switched over to the community center now as our backup to be able to have the capacity in case we ever had a response like that we would have plenty of parking. But I think, Matt, you agree we don't have any issues or anything with this, and I know Jesse from the legal side, like you mentioned, this is something that is pretty much the same that we always have had, and we're going to continue to work and look at all the options and bring it back to council and see what's the best thing that goes along with that.
And I guess the onus is on us to come up with some kind of fix with your suggestions or advice or whatever. But we need to come up with a fix for this at
Yes,
the end
sir.
of this period.
And we will work closely with you to identify what those needs are and also help through that actual transition. It was a very long night there. That was a very long night 2 years ago.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Comments? Anybody else?
Yeah, so you speak of this transition, it's just the gas side, what about the electricity?
Well, the electric side stays the same. You know, this O&M contract for us is really a separate part of our business that we only do with one other city. But the commitment to continue to support on the electric side remains, and you are part of our electric system.
So I guess timelines is, as far as getting away from this, what are we looking at? 5 years, 10 years, 2 years, as far as the gas side is concerned?
I think within the next year.
Yeah.
That's what was in the last meeting, is for us to go ahead and look at options and then come back. Is that right, Matt?
Yes, from area to 6 month contract with a month to month after that for 6 months. I'm sorry, maybe I didn't explain. Yeah, ultimately, in hopes of 6 months to a year, for us to figure out what we want to do with the gas system and how we're going to move forward with it.
Thank you.
Any other comments or concerns? All right. All right, council, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? I appreciate it. Once again, I want to go ahead and thank CPS. Thank you for coming out here. We appreciate it. You know, Alderman Kate mentioned about the electrical side and stuff. Even this weekend, you guys responded very well. Got a call from Richie saying that we had lost one of our main lines that goes and feeds HEB in their commercial. And you guys responded very well. We appreciate it. Always taking care of our community and getting it back up. So thank you so much for that.
Thank you, Mayor.
You're welcome to hang out if you like, or or actually, okay, I'm gonna get ahead of myself, but I will tell you tonight, if you get home, the Food Network at 8 o'clock, we got Chef Mandy, who's a local graduate from here, who's gonna be on the Food Network competing on a baking competition. So yeah, we've been pretty fortunate. We've been showing up on different competitions, so it's been really good. All right, let's go ahead and move on, council, on to B, consider and act upon the approval of the forms and procedures of Lytle, or City of Lytle Annual Citizenship Award Committee. I'll go ahead and.
Do you have that? You have the document, it's in the packet.
Give the packet.
Usually, yeah, it's on the packet. You put that document. I want to reach out and thank you to Mr. K for submitting this document back in June of '22. And I also want to thank the committee for their dedication and unanimously adopting this document. So I'd like to briefly go and highlight some of the items that we modified or added. So on the purpose, the annual awards committee will be selecting 2 awards each year. That will be the youth, which is 18 and under, and the adult category. There's going to be 3 additional optional awards that will be pending the nomination process. And that would be for honorable mention, that would be a group, and the individual lifetime achievement award. Now, the honorable mention was something that we looked into, and this is for the opportunity of the City of Lytle to recognize a group that has come into the community, not part of Lytle. It could be from outside, obviously, and we can recognize them for all the work that they do. So the criteria nominations. So the residency has to be within the ETJ. The nominator does not have to be a Lytle resident. I think it's important that we make that clear because you may have people that are going to nominate their parent, one of their parents, and they don't live in Lytle, so we give that opportunity for them to be able to do that. And then we have exclusions of who will not be able to be nominated, and those would be the Lytle elected officials currently in office, selected committee members, or Lytle employees are not eligible for this, to receive this award while they're in office or they're an employee. So the committee has 3 hard dates that we have to meet. The first one will be October the 1st. That's where we're going to open up the nomination process. On October the 1st, we will have the forms available. They can be picked up here at the Lytle City office. We're going to use the marquee up front to make everyone aware of the fact that we're doing the nominations period. The website, Mr. Deere has worked with the committee and has put the form up online so they can submit the form online and putting the attachments that they may need. And then what we also want to do is we want to include the form and the utility billing for October. Now, the form is available. It's a direct copy of what we have in the document. So anything that's stated in this form, that's enough. Okay. Anything we state in this form is already included in the document. So that really shouldn't, need to be reviewed. The second hard date would be October the 31st. That's when all submissions will be due. We will accept anything postmarked by August the 31st, and we will consider those nominations. The other hard date would be the 30th of November. That is when the committee will make their selection based on the nominations that were presented or sent in for each category. Now, we say November the 31st, or I'm sorry, November the 30th, and what we plan on doing is in November, that last council meeting, to give our recommendation on who we feel should receive each award. So that way by December, which is when the council normally presents the award, we'll be ready to do the presentation. So this year it's going to be November the 27th will be that last meeting in November. So we should have that ready. That's going to be our projected date. And in a nutshell, that's basically it.
Can you go down on that, just so I can see? All right. All right. All right, council.
Mayor, I can make a motion.
Okay.
Move that we approve the forms and procedures for the City of Iowa Annual Citizenship Awards, as presented tonight by Alderman Rodriguez.
Thank you. I have a motion on the floor. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
You got a second? Okay. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Thank you, council.
Thank you so much, and thank you for all the hard work on that. Make sure we took care of that. It looks really good. I'll set us up for success and stuff. The only thing with council is now that we know, it's time to start looking, okay? And making sure people know about going through the procedures and not missing those folks that have gone out there and made a difference for our community. So,
And we feel that putting it in the utility bill will be a big step in moving forward. So, thank you.
that'll be good. That'll be good. All right, let's go ahead and move on to C, and this is on consider and act upon the request to revise the speed limit on Magnolia Street to 25 miles per hour. Come on up, ma'am. Thank you so much for being here. We appreciate that.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor Ruben Gonzalez and other respective aldermen. And it's wonderful to meet the alderman responsible in my district too, Alderman Richard Hughes. It's wonderful to be here, and I thank you for hearing what I have to say today. This has been long on my heart, and I know that our chief of police have received many, many calls to the police department regarding this issue of people driving at an exceedingly high speed on Magnolia Street. This is a very short strip of street, and hardly anyone obeys that signal of 30 miles per hour. Most of the time, I can tell you they are driving probably 50 to 70 miles an hour. It's like a little strip of, let's see how fast we can go here. Now, I have no objections to people driving on the street. It is a public street. The only thing is to obey the speed limit, right? And, on Main Street, there are people who get tickets for violating that 30 miles an hour. I don't know if anyone has been given a ticket on Magnolia for driving double that. So I am very frustrated about this issue. I think it can be solved. I think we need to do something about it. Now, I noticed the last couple of years that there has been a change put on, I think it's Somerset and Benton. There has been a change. There are 25 miles an hour speed limits for there. I would imagine, without having any discussion with any one of you, that part of that decision probably was because people were driving too fast. I don't know for sure. I cannot prove that. I wasn't here when that decision was made to put that there for 25. But I think that would help. Anything would help. You know, I was out on the 4th of this month, which was one Monday ago from this Monday, and what I noticed was shocking. That there was truly an 18-wheeler. I didn't have my phone and me. Don't carry my phone on in the yard when I'm watering. But it was an 18-wheeler. And he was going like 50 miles an hour down the street. That's a problem. And there's another issue why I want that solved. And that is not to be brought up at this time because of different issue. But we need to do something. And I would really appreciate if you'd not only consider, but make the decision to reduce 25 miles an hour and put about 3 signs so people, will see it. I appreciate it and I thank you very much.
Appreciate it, ma'am. Before we turn it over, can you go to make it on satellite? So we can go ahead and see it. Yep, right here. And, okay, so we're talking about this street right in here. And I think, ma'am, you said you live kind of like in the middle?
Yeah, I do.
So I'm right in there. So this is the street right in here, connects to Florence, and they got the police department right in there. So you kind of have a vector, and then we got the Y right here coming in. So, Richie, any feedback you want to
Well,
provide
I
about
can,
that street?
yeah, if y'all wanna, I can give you a little background on what's going on over there. You wanna zone out here a little bit,
You want the road?
yeah, go to the road.
That's Somerset Street, right? You gotta scroll to the.
No, that's Magnolia, this is the corner,
I was looking.
that's Benton there, but that's
There you
Magnolia.
go.
So really what the problem is, now we have had a speed trailer over here, and it's been some time. If you wanna give me street view, that's fine, that'd be just as easy. We have had the speed trailer over there, it's been a number of months, possibly 9 months, I'm not sure. Obviously, we weren't getting any kind of speeds like that. We're lost already.
Just a minute.
No, it's.
You were there and
Yeah, you were on it, but.
Yeah, I don't know, now I can get back to it.
Zoom out. It's technology.
So-
Zoom out. Zoom out and it'll automatically
I
go.
did it yet.
There you go. Now just go ahead and zoom up. There you go.
Now we're in the trailer park.
Yeah.
Hang on.
This is our excitement for the evening.
All right.
What you
I'm
doing?
almost there.
Okay, go ahead, Richie.
Okay, so what's happening on Magnolia Street, it's there's no reason it's not, because it's a shortcut somewhere. What's happening is, Main Street's backed up, we all know that, if you, especially like Charles, we live on the other side of the street, so, we know Main Street is backed up. So what's happening is, if you wanna, can you come down a little bit, maybe,
Zoom out.
zoom out?
You want to zoom out?
Yeah, okay.
In relation to.
Go down a little bit. So what's happening is, Main Street is, well, let me just describe. You're on Main Street. So to avoid the red light at Somerset Street, people are turning by Chevron, okay? They're going down there, they're making that little weird curly Q by the police station, the public works yard. They're going down where there's a 90-degree, not a stop sign. That may be a bit better plan. There's a 90-degree turn there, but there's not, and then taking a left, and then they're shooting out to Benton City Road because of the congestion on Main Street, the congestion on Somerset Street, because Somerset Street's 25 miles an hour. If everybody's driving 25 on there, it's backed up like a son of a gun. So they're basically taking that, and it's a wonderful way if school's letting out. It's a wonderful way, and when there's a lot of traffic, people have realized they can do that, and that's where it's causing this. It's kind of like while Somerset Street, it's a lot of traffic flow. I really personally will tell you, I don't believe that it's really as much excessive speed. There's probably some speeding, yes, but and 25 would definitely help us. We've talked about speed humps over there. We've talked about, but maybe a stop sign even at Magnolia Street.
Right on this, so right here on this, go ahead and zoom back in, right into this area.
So this, yeah,
There we go. So right here, there's no stop sign?
yeah, that's just kind of a boom around.
So you yield, there's a yield.
Yeah, but there's not much traffic over there. Really, the traffic is almost all going this way. It's almost all that way. It's not much coming back. So if you put a stop sign here, for example, that's gonna change this. if you wanna go put a stop sign at Benton Street right there for this street, if we really think there's a problem, a stop sign at Benton here to make this a two-way stop or whatever, I don't know. But that's how you're gonna break that deal. That's what happened on a lot of Somerset Street, and that's why we put stop signs over there. Just some people liked it, some didn't. But if you lived over there, you would definitely understand, this will not fix itself. The population's increasing. As we have more subdivisions, all of the ones out in the county, the ones in the city, this is gonna be people getting to and from the school. They're gonna be using that as a shortcut. And I think that is the root of the problem.
Well, actually, I don't have a problem with people using it as a shortcut.
Well, but
It's okay. It's just that they think it's a highway.
Yeah.
And they drive exceedingly fast. You have been aware that we have had to call your department.
oh, yes,
So
no,
we
I've
went
been
there,
talking
And
for,
so I will be
Yeah.
aware, and all the other neighbors are aware of what goes on because we live on the street. And we see now, there are times when we're not actually outside to see. But golly, I'm telling you, they are going way past 30 miles an hour.
well, I mean, I think there's a problem too, and again, I'm obviously not calling you a liar, because I've known you for many years and have great respect for you and your husband both. But there is a little bit of perception issue when depending on how close your house is, and Charles and I did some studies on this on Lyle Somerset Street, from how far, so if the houses are fairly close to the road, and a vehicle at 30 miles an hour is actually pretty fast. I mean, if the road's where Charles is sitting and he goes back 30 miles, it's gonna seem pretty fast to me. But we can actually get the numbers by putting a trailer over there, get some updated numbers on the speeds. We don't even have to turn it on, we can turn it on, we don't even set an alarm where they might not even realize it. We've set decoy cars over there, but because of the volume in the street, there's really not a way you can put an officer over there and actually, because you could park there and nobody comes by at all for a while. Then all of a sudden, it happens. So it's like several of the streets we have here. But long-term solution is gonna happen. Long-term solution is gonna require, stop sign, speed hump.
I would agree on stop sign with the future.
Can I make a suggestion, council?
You know,
We take the speed trailer she's talking about, we place it down towards the end of Magnolia, closer to Benton City Road, so we can get a true picture of hopefully the full length of the road. And then we collect data for 30 days, and then we bring that data back before council. We'll know then, is it a traffic volume problem or is it a speed problem? I would venture to say in my 20 years of working here in policing, we're gonna have a traffic flow problem just like we had on Lytle Center. It's not speed, it's a volume. You can control that by placing some stop signs there, then deter people from what they use that.
So could you come back in 30 with the data, and maybe a recommendation, whether it be the stop signs or whatever it is?
If you authorize Chief and I to work together, we can do that.
We even do it if you don't authorize it, I guess.
Yeah, we can work together to bring it
Work
back.
together no matter.
And just so you know, ma'am, we have to, when we make these decisions, we have to collect data. So
well, I thought data was being collected in the past.
Well, we
When you
have,
had the truck. But however, I want to say this, and I appreciate that, thank you very much. But you know that when people see a trap, you know what they do? They slow down. They will not drive the way they normally would drive if they see a police vehicle parked there.
Yeah.
We know that's common sense, and we know people do that. So you can't be sure that you're collecting accurate data because people will not do what they normally would do.
I can tell you, council, from my amount of time of working with that speed trailer in our town, it is pretty accurate. The speeds, we will get the weird way up here speeds and the slow down speeds, and it gives you the average. And that's what we're looking for, that average, not necessarily,
if we place it correctly, we should be able, and we turn it off where it's not showing any.
not
speed.
showing anything. So it appears like the sign is not
Yeah.
working.
You know,
It's collecting
Yeah, we
data.
just make it look like the battery's dead or something, and,
That might work.
we can try. But
Thank you.
again, I think that's probably, now we do have data probably, but unfortunately, the town's changed so much from a year or two ago, there's really, if I have it easily accessible, it's still not gonna be accurate.
That's okay,
Yeah,
that
we'll
the
get
county is growing and changing. We just want a good solution. Put a stop sign, put a speed bump, put a trap, change the speed limit, do what we
Yeah.
can do to show that we are aware of the problem for the citizens who are there that are also paying taxes. So I do appreciate, and I thank you very much, and I thank you, you're my friend, you're my friend, we're friends, but we do want to do things that honorably and to help the citizens all around.
And so, Mayor, if we want us to actually run the thing for 30 days, we'll probably need a little more. We probably need not the 1 month council, we probably want to, when's the next meeting?
I think we can be pretty close to 30 days and report the first meeting in October.
Okay.
That's fine. As long as
I think that's close enough to 30 days. It'd be a
Well,
good
and
snapshot.
guys, since the majority of that street, I mean, there's a little section that belongs to Miguel, but the most of it, can we work with Richard, since it's his district, and make sure just a little in there?
You know, I'm out.
So-
Yeah, you're gonna go over and
Yeah,
do
yeah.
that. Right, you're right.
And
So Council,
part of the factor will also be the volume that goes through the.
Yes.
Richard, you want to make a motion since it's your district?
Yes, I'll motion that.
It would be to authorize the city administrator and the chief of police to put the trailers up.
I motion that we, go ahead and do what we're gonna say we're gonna do, put that machine for the next 30 days to see what we come up with, and we'll do what we can to,
so collect data for
Yeah,
30
collect
days
data
and
for
come up
30
with
days.
options.
yeah, so that we can try to figure out what we can do to prevent that speeding.
I would like to be at the next meeting when you have that discussion and the data
Yes,
information.
we can have the city secretary notified.
Thank
And we'll
you.
try to keep if chief doesn't mind, keep our patrols as we normally do over there. That way we don't step up enforcement to hinder the numbers or reduce it, we just.
Now, we don't have any particular major holidays or school. This would be a good time frame because school's in session. We gotta be careful. A lot of times we talk about stuff before we plan something, the school lets out and it changes the whole plan because there's no traffic. So this will be a good time frame.
Mayor, I'll go ahead and second that motion.
Okay, have a
Thank
second.
you.
Okay, further discussion?
Yeah, I got a couple comments for Chief. Is the volume, associated with, diverting down Magnolia, do you think that has anything to do with the fact that we've lowered the speed limit on Somerset Street?
I think I'm sure it plays into it.
Because my thought on that is if someone puts in directions in their phone, GPS, car, whatever, saying, well, it's factoring that in, right? It's factoring in the traffic jam on Main Street. And it might actually be diverting them down there because it's showing that the speed limit's faster.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know, I know now, and I've become a creature of habit using that, even when I know where I'm going to San Antonio because of traffic jams. So I know people that they use that everywhere they go when they're in their vehicle. So that may have something. I don't have enough knowledge on how that works, but I know that we have run into people before and we asked them there was this kind of GPS sending,
And of course, you bring up a very good point, ma'am, about the action that was taken approximately 2 years ago, lowering the speed limits on Prairie Street, Lytle, Somerset, because of people like yourself coming before the council and saying, we have an issue with people driving too fast. And ultimately, what the council did was we said, well, it's a safety matter, right? We want to keep our residents safe. And what the state law says is because of the fact that it is a 2-lane road, that we don't have to do the formal traffic study. Because you have not just Magnolia, you have Florence and South Prairie that people are on as well. So there's actually 3 roads there to address your issue that we would need to go back and look at tweaking those speed limits there.
There are a lot of seniors on that street.
Oh, yeah, I know a
And
couple
people
of them.
walk,
I know
not
several of
only
them.
fast, athletic, like it used to be.
Yeah, but you think you are,
We're in
right?
danger of getting hit by some of that speeding people.
No, I mean, it's a very calm street for the most part. I will go that way, but I can speak from personal experience. The fastest that I get on that stretch of road is 20 miles an hour, and there's no need to drive really any faster than that.
Exactly. I was going to say that. There's no need to drive faster than 30. But you can drive fast.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
We'll be in
So,
touch.
Any other comments? Okay, Jesse, any concerns? Okay,
thank
all
you.
right, council, we're almost there, council, all those in favor? Any opposed? All right, there we go, ma'am, we're taking the next step.
Thank
For
you.
bringing it up.
Hope we have good news.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, council, let's go ahead and move forward. D, consider an act upon approving task order 23-09 with TRC Engineers in the amount of $1,815 for utility pole installation, floodplain view, and engineering services for property located at 15319 Lake Street.
So council, this is the same property that they had a mobile home place. It's still being reviewed, that's placed in the floodplain. CPS Energy has submitted for floodplain review of a telephone pole that they're gonna install in the floodplain. In order for us to permit that, it has to be checked off the list for, FEMA. Our engineers review that by ordinance, and their cost is $1,815. It is always customary that on situations like this, we bill that back to the person requesting the service. And I think Paul has reached out to the property owner, and they are okay with the price, or there was a
Still working with CPS because they still didn't know what the.
There's some- they don't understand, I guess, they're calling somebody at CPS, and they're saying, well, we don't know why the city's charging you that, because we're putting your pole in. You've already paid us. Well, CPS requested us to review their floodplain, because they're placing the pole in the floodplain. So that's all I can tell you. Under customary that we recover those costs from whoever initiated the action. This is not something the city's trying to do. So if council wants, they can approve this task order, contingent that the property owner agrees to pay the cost prior to us releasing anything. Outside of the engineer, or if the property owner says, you know what, I'm not gonna pay that cost, and we just tell the engineer, you pulled off, nothing good.
Mayor, I'd like to make a motion.
Yes, sir.
Move that we approve task order number 23-09 with TRC Engineers in the amount of $1,815 for utility pole installation, floodplain review and engineering services for property located at 15319 Lake Street, contingent upon price approval from the property owner.
I'll second that.
Okay.
That's how you'll do that. In addition to that. All right, got a motion, got a second. Any further discussion on this one? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you so much. Appreciate that. All right, let's go ahead and talk to them. Hopefully we can work things out. Okay, E, consider and act upon establishing standard municipal fees for animal adoption and other services at the city's animal control facility. We've got Santi coming in. Council, this one, and I'll lead into this. One of the things that we've been trying to do in there, as you know, is to try to be able to get our pets adopted. Make sure that we can actually get numbers out. So there's been different things that have been suggested in the past. Santi had talked about different prices, and that's what he's bringing forward because we need to make it official. Is that correct?
Yeah, so my understanding, Council, when I started talking to Santi about this, in talking to him, he said he doesn't believe any of these were ever officially adopted by ordinance or set by council. They were just fees that were charged. So we need to get that in ordinance form and say, these are our fees to do X at the animal control facility.
So this would be the fees, and Jesse had helped us out in the past in making sure that we have a list. Is that correct?
Cities do it different ways. A lot of cities will often, as part of their annual budgeting process, will establish their set of standard chart of fees and charges. So be it for animal adoption or any other building permit fees, all of your various standard charges. So they'll prepare an omnibus kind of like fee schedule. So it's up to you how the council you want to do it. I think today is also a good chance to get some direction on terms of how you want to go about establishing the fees, whether you want, to set a fee or what amount of discretion, is there a range or certain types of fees you want to charge or not charge. So some direction from that would be helpful.
Something, recommendations, or that you actually are looking at?
Right now, to get animals out, I have the adoption fee 75. But the original adoption fee was 150. So Matt told me that he needs to get something set. So to get a dog spayed, neutered, at a vet is 150. But to try to move animals out, I want to try to cut it in half to get adoptions out going. But I don't know how y'all want to set.
So council, here's my mindset on this. We had set a fee. If we're gonna adopt an animal out, it costs the city X number of dollars to spay, neuter it, and get its first round of shots, rabies, let's call it $150. That would be our adoption fee. When we're not overrun and you wanna adopt an animal, that's the cost to adopt it. We hit a trigger point where Santi or the animal control gets to about 75% capacity or something, and he's gotta make a decision on, I need to move animals, he can come to council and say, hey, council, with authorization from date to date, I want to reduce that fee because I'm overrun to X. We can move. Then he gets, I'm at 95, I gotta move dogs now or make tough decisions. I want to have a free adoption event, but that's something he's gonna come back to. What I'm looking for tonight is direction from council that we can work, something I can work together with legal to begin drafting these charges that we want to charge for fees. Get that drafted into an ordinance to come back to you with in 2 weeks is what we're looking for.
Yeah, that was my question as well. I can understand the discount, and Jesse, if they have to come to council for a discounted amount, that's fine. But, because this is gonna be put into an ordinance or whatever we put it into, it's important that we include eating inflation. The inflated amounts, because you're gonna do it now, and you might as well look into the future for the rest of the year. So make sure your numbers do reflect that.
And I'll try to keep it the same as, I know Divine would go up on their,
Right.
so try to keep it the same.
Sounds good.
So it's a little bit of both on there, but Matt is also letting us know, maybe we can just go ahead and make a motion for us to direct the city administrator to go ahead and work with legal and with Santi to be able to put this document and be able to bring it forward to us, whether it be as a fee or it be an ordinance, whichever way is the best way. Okay.
Yeah, can we get an accurate monetary value on what it costs us to do this? Because you mentioned the 150, it's currently at 75. I mean, we're not a business, we're providing the residents a service, so we can't be charging fees, of course, that aren't in line with what it's costing us. So I mean, I get what you're saying is like, oh, you get capacity, we need to get dogs out of there, but at the same time, I don't know, that's a little tricky to word, and, I think Jesse brought it up, Michael, that the fee thing needs to be reviewed annually for everything, as far as inflation concerns. But I do feel like we need to have a dollar amount of what it's costing us now, and then that's what we set our fees at.
Yeah, I'll get with Divine and see what, like, the last one I got was like, 150 to get that.
Yeah, we'll actually call the vets we're using and get their cost on what it costs us to do whatever it is, in line item it out. For spay neuter is X, for a rabies shot is this, for the first round of shots, and we'll line item it out. That way, when we go to adopt an animal, it has to have all these items done before we adopt it out, and that's what an adoption fee would be.
Do we receive a discount rate as the city from vets that we go to?
Divine, gives us like a 20% discount.
I mean, I know I took my dog to the vet a couple of weeks ago. It was like $200 for annual shots. So, I mean, I think that, of course, it's a great service, but.
Yeah, the Divine works with us pretty good. They give a little discount. They help us out.
And you also get help from
Yes.
allies, right?
Yes.
So there's two different sources when you put the numbers together based on the adoption that goes along with that. So
I'm talking about when we adopt it, it's animals that we have a monetary value into. If the city has spent, $150 in this animal to get it ready for adoption, that's what they're. If Lidl Animal Allies wants to cover that adoption fee for that person, or they pay the fee for these 5 dogs, that's not the city's money. We can work on maybe a free adoption event for those, or I don't know, there's a lot of moving parts, but realistically, I'm trying to recover our cost as best we can, but also understand that at some point, we may be overrun and we need to do things like a reduced adoption fee or a free adoption event like other facilities do to bring the numbers back down.
When that happens, who pays the loss?
The
In other words,
city
if we have $150 in the dog and we end up charging 75 or nothing, it comes out of the general fund.
Yes, we take that loss.
So I will say there is times that are lost, but you also got to take into consideration if Animal Allies pays to spay and neuter, which is the majority of the cost, then it's less.
Yes, that's not our life. They're a nonprofit, they get their own donated money, if they're paying it, then it's not on us.
So there's variables,
Yeah,
yeah, legal on that.
But if the stars go on the line and we pay all the fees, then we have to reduce it, then the city eats that loss.
Another problem we were having when I first started is some who's getting these dogs in, we were getting spay and neutered, keeping them, and say that we do have to make that tough decision. It could be anywhere between $75 to $200 to make that decision, because we don't have anybody on site that can do that. So then it added like double the money in. So it's like, do we sit on that for longer? Do we keep feeding them? Do we keep, the overhead and burden in that? Or do we reduce that fee like Matt's saying and do an adoption for $25 and move on to get them off the bill?
Maybe these things we don't get until they get because we're talking about a lot of moving parts within animal control
But,
now.
okay, we did
So-
try that. We tried that a couple times, didn't we? But they don't bring them back and we can't have that.
Well, no, before we release them.
Yeah.
You want to adopt dog X, great. Go pay the fees, it's gonna cost you X, we're gonna send it, once you pay, we're gonna send it to the vet, get it all done, and when it's ready, we'll call you. That's
Mayor, I
how-
want to make a motion for the animal control director to get with the city administrator and legal on establishing standard municipal fees for animal adoption and other services at the city animal control facility.
Got a motion on the floor?
Second.
Got a second? Further discussion?
I see this ordinance being, here's the ordinance, exception number 1, exception number 2, section number 3. This thing is very fluid. So Jesse, we're gonna rely on your expertise to word it in such a way that it allows for variations without them doing too many jumping through activities. I'm sure there's a way to word it so you can do that. It seems like it could become pretty complicated real quick when we cast this thing in concrete in an ordinance, and then all of a sudden, oops, we can't do that. Then what do we do? So it needs to be flexible.
Okay, any other comments? All those in favor? Any opposed? All right.
Yep.
There you go. Thanks, Santi. All right, let's go ahead and move on to F, consider an act on ordinance number 23-10, repealing the curfew for minors.
So council during the 88 legislature, they passed House Bill 1819, it went into effect September 1st, which prohibits cities from enforcing their own curfew ordinances. So we're just following in line with every other city out there and repealing our curfew ordinance.
Is it a problem with that?
Mayor, I'd like to make a motion.
Yes, sir.
I move that we adopt ordinance number 23-10, repealing the curfew for minors that the city of Lidle has.
Got a motion on the floor?
Second.
A second. Any further discussion?
Yeah, I have a question. Chief Priest,
Yes, sir.
so, I've been looking around on the internet, and a lot of the police chiefs from other cities say they have to change the way they're doing things. Obviously, without a curfew, you can't use that to deter people from being out on the streets, no matter what their age, obviously. Do you have something in the works?
Well, we don't have a big problem with kids.
Now we don't have,
Yeah.
but it's possible with
Sure.
this idiotic curfew of removal, it could cause problems.
And there were a lot of exceptions to that too, because that's been on the interstate, a lot of people traveling, schools on Friday nights, people going to and from games. We really the way we handle young children out now is more welfare concerns, welfare checks on them, and the officers will check it. And sometimes you've got a 12-year-old kid that may be walking home from his cousin's house, and you give the kid a ride, or so we really haven't had any crime-related issues. We haven't done a lot. We've done some curfew stuff. Normally it's when we find a carload of kids that are maybe up to no good, or they're not really cooperating with who they are. So then we'll get them back to a parent. So with that being said, I think if we start having a problem, we've got a lot of different ways we can look at it. But I don't have anything right now to do because we don't have much.
Let's hope it stays up.
Yes, sir. That's number one plan, hopefully. Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Any other comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you so much. Charles, you said you?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate it. All right. Thank you, council. Let's go ahead and move on to G, consider and act upon the adoption of 2023-2024 proposed tax rate.
So council, is just formality, the budget the proposed budget we presented got passed, had a proposed tax rate of 0.3883. It's the formal step for y'all to adopt that proposed tax rate. Of course, we still have to have the public hearings next week and the formal adoption of a budget and tax rate later this month. But that would be my suggestion. We adopt a proposed tax rate of 0.3883 per $100 evaluation.
Mayor, I'd make that motion.
If there needs to be a little,
A roll call, yes, we have to take an actual aye here.
For when we vote.
Yeah.
Right?
Mayor, I'll second that.
Second, any further discussion? The only thing is that is the exact same amount presented before.
Yeah, that's the number we use to prepare the budget, the proposed budget.
All right, so with that in mind, thank you, Jesse, for the reminder. We'll go ahead and go each one. Richard, your vote on this?
I go for,
Okay,
I agree.
David?
Aye.
Mayor, I vote yea.
And Charles?
Mayor, I vote nay. I believe there's some errors in our calculations.
Okay. Okay, and we need to go ahead and reflect on there, Miguel being absent. So I know we have it in the beginning, but since we're doing everybody, just so we'll know. Okay. And this is a majority, right? Okay. So based on the votes, motion carries forward. So we'll go ahead and continue on with the adoption of the proposed tax rate. That goes along with that. Thank you, Council. Appreciate that. All right, let's go ahead and move on to H, consider and act upon the appointment of Samantha Sanchez to the City of Lino Mobile Home Commission. Paula?
Yes, we had a vacant position for the mobile commission. We talked to Ms. Sanchez and I talked to Mr. Kay about that because he was supposed to bring someone to the table to be able to appoint someone. I did talk to her, she's more than happy to be part of the commission, so. That's what we're gonna do.
So who is this person replacing?
We'll be replacing Ms. Margaret. This person, her husband,
Could I have Don DeAndre, Jessica Caballero, Lisa Rotary, Linda Anderson, and
Ms.
Paul
Brody,
Whitney?
yes,
Perfect.
Ms. Brody.
Okay,
She's the one who
that's,
sent the letter out.
okay, and that would be District 5?
Yes.
Okay.
Charles, any comments on there?
Mayor, I'd just like to make a motion, move that we appoint Samantha Sanchez to the mobile home commission.
Okay, got a motion on the floor?
Second.
Got a second? Okay.
I have a comment.
Okay.
I would like to ask the city to review the websites with the committee assignments. I see on there the reinstatement dates, but I don't see any words in there what districts they represent. I realize a lot of these appointments were basically who we can put in a position and may not necessarily align with the district. So I guess my next question would be to the council, should they not align with the district? Because one of the perks of being a councilman is that you can elect your representative or your appointee to any one of these commissions. So if we do not have it stated which district that person may be representing or was brought in for, I think that could cause a lot of problems in the future. So there's one thing that I'm asking is that these committees that are listed on our website and the commissions, that we try to align it with the district. Now, I know, like I said, a lot of times they were just simply unanimously voted on by the council.
I would need to pull out the document. I think that's what the intent was the last time that we did it, but I think there was an exception that if we couldn't find somebody inside the district, then we would be able to get, is that,
Yes.
am I tracking on that?
Yes.
Right.
And I know for the commission, for the mobile commission, they've been there too long, like longer than anybody else, like The newest ones, we actually appointed, every one of you has appointed someone.
Yes.
For the mobile commission, they have not, they stayed in the same for quite a long.
And I understand that. It's up to the council person coming in, the alderman, to make that decision if they choose to. But I would just like to get these commissions and committees aligned. Now, I don't know how we would go about that, because if the committee, I'm sorry, if the council voted on somebody unanimously to fill a position, not necessarily based on the district, I don't know how we would align them. But give you an example, say if I want to put somebody in the mobile home commission, who am I going to replace if we don't align them? And it could be very simply put to the mobile home commission to choose who wants to step down. I mean, there's a lot of possible solutions for it, but that's one of my requests, is that we realign these commissions and committees.
So maybe we can, I mean, this is gonna be separate, but maybe what we can do is just take a look at it, all of them, get back to the council,
Come on.
see which districts they're already, where they live, you know, and stuff like that, and then come back to us at a later date. But for tonight, we got the motion for us to go ahead and take care of Samantha Sanchez to help us out with the mobile home commission. Any further comments on that? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, thank you so much, appreciate that. All right, we're doing good. Let's go ahead and move on to number 7, the department reports. The first one that we have is animal control. Come on up, go ahead and give your report. Just a reminder, council had previously said, try to limit yourself to 5 minutes.
I'm not, it's just that one.
Try to be able to take care of that. And so you have, that's up to you. You still can have all the slides, but just your comments, you can maybe just highlight.
Well, it's pretty
the-
much everything on one.
Okay.
It's 8-9 calls, we had 1 animal surrender, 5 animals transferred out. We picked up a total of 11 animals in the city, 7 adopted out, 6 volunteers for a total of 21 and a half hours. We had 13 different cities of people that came, a total of 106 pet owners came for food on Bella's Pantry. And our yearly totals of 7 euthanized, 41 adoptions, and 111 transferred out to rescue.
And what, the other thing that the council had asked you is make sure that we put the total number of dogs and cats that you currently have.
Oh, yes. Right now it was 39 dogs and 6 cats.
Okay. So moving into the 30s.
Yes.
Okay, let's keep going.
Yeah, well, today I picked up like 4.
Okay. And just keep working on the adoptions.
So someone, there's.
Do you have any
someone dumping
transfers
animals.
coming up here pretty soon?
Nothing yet. Yeah, I've been having some animals dumped around the city. I had 3 puppies dumped. 1 on Wisdom, 2 on North Prairie. I now have 3 dogs on North Somerset running around. Had a dog off of 463, but luckily where it came back to where it was adopted from, it's gonna be going back to them soon.
Council? All right, let's go ahead and move on. Thank you, Sean, we appreciate that. Let's go ahead and go into the library director's report. Sandra? Oh,
You do leave me faster.
she's doing, you guys gonna trade? Swap hot? There we go.
You want this?
Yes, that's it.
Oh, there's a cursor.
Yeah.
on there.
You want just move this one, this one?
So it's 5 minutes for the presentation and 3 minutes to get.
Hang
the-
on.
I'm gonna go to.
Just locked up.
I'm trying. Let me get rid of Rich here. Rich.
All right, your usage is a little down, but it's going up and down just when it is. Checkouts went up and so the stats also went up too. Library cards, they've been going up as well. Story time is still running good. We're running about 10 kids, averaging 10 kids. And we're still working on those. Hopefully we'll have it done by the end of the year. And still offering curbside. And those are looking displays. It was romance, picnic, and golf. And then a library calendar.
If I can make a comment on this slide, that's some good information. It's last month's information.
Yes.
Is it possible to put next month's information in your report? There's some really good information there that I would like to see.
I can add the calendar for this
The
month.
next month, yes.
I'll add both calendars.
What you have available for you. I can understand that maybe some of this stuff is still pending.
Yeah, I can add that.
That's a real good slide there. I like that.
Yeah, I have a question. You had, I think, 12 new library cards.
That's at counts.
Right, it counts. Are these people new to the community? Do you
Some of
know?
them are new to the community. It just depends on where, and some of them are new to the area. So it doesn't necessarily mean they're from Lytle. They might be from another town.
Okay. But you think these are people who moved in from somewhere else and not just people who never had one that lived here for years and just everything?
No, it's not people who've lived here a while. They're new people.
All right, so you have new blood coming
Yes,
into the
yes.
library, that's good.
And those 20 new cards, is there a fee?
The only time we charge is if they lose the card, we charge $1 short.
Okay.
Thank you so much. 2 minutes.
What's next?
And see, Public Works, we'll be able to do that one.
So council did unforeseen circumstances, I'll brief on later. If you have any questions, I don't know if the reports, his report's online, was also submitted in the packet. If you have any questions, I can go clarify any questions you may have on that report.
Yeah, on the rereads, I saw that there was 12 customer rereads. That seems high. Normally I've seen like 4 or 3.
We've been changing out a lot of meters, so we've been putting in, Matt just dealt with this today. We're putting in new meters that are actually reading correctly, and it's kind of.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
So-
Today's system, I had to explain to them, you got a new meter and this month is up because your new meter is accurate and reading every drop going through it, whereas the other one wasn't.
Okay.
So a perfect example on why we didn't get our meters called down.
Unless you got a meter.
Yeah, I'm sure it's totally great.
Then keep the old one.
All right,
Any other questions?
any questions? Anything else? Okay, thank you so much. Okay, Richie,
Now, what is it, supposed to be 5 minutes or what is
5
it?
minutes.
5 minutes.
You got your timer on your phone
Yeah,
on?
hold on, I wanna go. Hold on. It's on
Take it 5 minutes.
Yeah, for sure. Let's just go. Somebody else time me. I can't.
Ready, go, time's up.
Let's see what all we got here. Nothing there out of the normal, regular, we're same time. Tickets, citations, issues, still speeding, still way up there. Still on driver's license, a lot of people, I guess, have expired licenses, they've had all kinds of trouble with GPS statewide, racial profiling stuff. But no arrest, nothing here really sticks out other than the same type of stuff we always have. Two little stuff.
Increase on that previous slide? On the
Yes, sir.
Express?
Yes,
That seems like an awfully high number for a drive-through.
It's some old checks,
Oh, what?
some old business checks, yeah, that were found, yes, sir. So that, just to know.
Oh,
What happens is, that's like, they send them off, maybe something, that particular one, I think somebody just found the old checks, and they, wash them and they, try to make them to someone else. So it's not, so that was just a business check that was found and.
Okay,
forwarded.
it wasn't actually put on.
No, no.
the company account.
And then criminal mischief, a little bit of damage at the park, broken window, nothing too bad. Shoplifting, bought HEB Plus stuff, just nothing out there out of the ordinary. Well, HEB Plus iPhone 14, of course, the biggest thing, phones, everybody carry $1,400 for a phone, but that's one person just left there, and somebody picked it up.
So it wasn't that HB was selling, it's just
No,
somebody
right.
else.
Yeah, it's customers, everybody gets over there and they set their phone down and they walk off.
A little square up.
Yeah, they got a little square if you put your phone. I mean, and if you put your phone there, you walk off and somebody just, so if you want to steal the phone, you know right where it is, right there in that little basket. Of course, Stripe.
Go back one, what was the wallet without cocaine?
Oh, well, we found a wallet got returned, he could have had cocaine. And the guy, we had to return his wallet, but we can't return cocaine because, that would have been wrong. I'm not gonna do something like that. Yeah. So wallet returned without cocaine. That's exactly what it is, Charles. I can't be any more simple than that, sir.
I know, but I'm just surprised we didn't get the story behind it.
Well, that's the story.
So you get one story per
This is
presentation.
what happened. Guy comes up, I'm here to get my wallet. I left it at the store. Richard Priest here is a prime criminal investigator. So I asked the guy, said, well, did you know there were illegal drugs in it? Of course, I already knew what the answer was gonna be. No. What was his answer? Yes. It's a true story. Anyway,
We syndication.
So you
jury. I mean, that's a perfect case.
it's just, it did happen. I mean, honest guy, I guess, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. You can't make this stuff up. Can't make this stuff
Well,
up.
once again, normally these are people that don't live here, right?
Oh, well, I mean, our population is so small, if we were just policing 2,700 people, you only need about 3 or 4 cops. I mean, if we didn't have HEB and fast food and all that, you wouldn't even really barely need a police department. Our service is based on the area we serve and the population we serve. Yeah, I mean, the daytime, what they call the daytime population.
Living on Main Street, I can hear how busy you are.
There's a lot happening all around. Special events, Stripes had their grand opening finally, department head meeting, had a David at the outreach event community center, and they were to Glock Armor, San Antonio. A bunch of cases with the county attorney's office, a decent amount with the Atascosa district attorney's for there. No Medina, no Bear, we had, what do we have? Okay, there's the bottom. The last one ended in 9th, which has been about a month, because the other one just ended. 8 hours overtime, 30 hours vacation, that was sick time, hours personal time. And right now we've got, so other than that, we can go next one. Auxiliary, 13 and a half hours there. Reserve officers. Oh, we'll go to the fire marshal section here, some field actions. A lot of learning center, we did their certificate of occupancy. Gateway Fellowship Church, that is an office for a church that uses the school in Italian, but it's just an administrative office where they can keep their supplies and stuff since the church doesn't offer, the school doesn't have facility. All past apothecary, that's next to the other place. And that's a small retail shop on Adams Street. And Reflections Hair Salon, which is a new place up here on facing Main Street by Priest Boulevard. That's my time.
I have a question.
Go ahead, sir.
House Bill 3, which pertains to the public school safety and security requirements, has that affected our police department any?
We don't, the school is contracted with Medina County for their SROs. I will be at a school safety meeting tomorrow night. I do not know what all their plans are up there, and so I'll hope to get some information tomorrow night. But that has not affected us directly because, we're not, we don't provide, we provide, what would you call it, supportive law enforcement if they're not available. Yeah. I don't have any official information on that.
Okay. But that is a possibility to use local law enforcement after hours, right?
Oh, no, we provide law enforcement to the school. We provide.
But would that count as one of the required security officers?
No, that would be, they want, and again, I'm not in the school, I haven't followed that closely because that's not what I'm tasked with right now, but I think the school's required to have one armed officer per campus.
Right.
And that's why Houston ISD right now has, I believe the chief down there, the superintendent, they have 166 openings for police officers in Houston ISD.
So, yeah, so the question was, it currently does not affect.
Yes, sir, it does not affect us at this time. There's some options for the schools, there's options from the opt-out, there's a variety.
Yeah, there's a lot of options.
And you're seeing a lot of districts do that, but I don't have any I don't have anything official to report.
Let's pass the bill and then we'll worry about how to enforce it later.
Yes, sir. That one. I mean, you can't, these agencies couldn't staff with enough policemen before the bill was passed.
I know. Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
All right, actually, you did good. Appreciate that. Anything else, council? Great. Department heads, thank you so much for making those adjustments. Appreciate it. I have an idea. I think the only one that came close was Richie, right on the line, so it worked out really good. All right, let's go ahead and move on to 8, this is the executive session. The city council, city of Lytle, may convene an executive session in accordance with the Texas Meetings Act, Texas Government Code, section 551.0711A and 2, consultants with the attorney, section 551.072, deliberations about real property, and section 551.0749, 8 personal matters to discuss the following matters. So the first one that we have, A, is actually, Jesse, should I just go ahead and read all 3 of them since we're going to go into executive session? Okay. So A, update and discussion on city bonds council regarding Lytle Farms PID number 2. Clay, thank you for being here for that. B, update regarding purchase of real property in the southeast corner. I think there's an open that we had had before. And then C, this is an update, discussion on administrative leave for public works director. So we are at 7:45 right now. So Paola, if you can go ahead and show us going into closed session. 7:45, and council and Clay, we will go ahead and take care of the first one and go back over here. Jesse, join us. Really appreciate that. can actually show us back at 8:23. And basically just go ahead and show no action. Us taking. We'll go ahead and go into item number 9, discussion and possible action regarding matters discussed in executive session. Can we put both of them together and just go ahead and
If there's no item, if there's no motion on any items, or.
so we just leave it alone? Okay, so for item number 9, we just don't have anything on those, okay? All right, let's go ahead and go into number 10, informational items. We'll go ahead and go around the room and see if we have anything you want to share. Okay,
All right, I'm gonna put this on there.
Paula? Lynette?
No, sir.
I do have one to share. The mayor received a letter today from TCEQ on a, I'm not gonna say it's a violation. It was a letter saying that the 40 lead copper samples we had to take from January to June, that, talking to Robbie, our foreman, they were taken and the report was generated to send back to TCEQ. Potentially something happened and they didn't get that letter, I guess. So we're gonna call TCEQ in the morning and find out exactly what's going on. But there is no violation, there is no notice about you gotta do this, take the samples like we did last time. We just appear they didn't get the letter. So we're gonna work with them to correct that.
Just the report.
The report at the end, yes, sir, yes, sir. Probably got hung up in the note.
Okay. Richie,
No, sir.
back any day? Anything over here? Jesse? Anything
Nothing
you hear? Nothing at all? Okay, a few things, just want to say thanks to PD and Fire Department for the Freedom Walk. Really appreciate it, you guys did a great job taking care of us, I think we had a good, and just like Richie put on this report, we had a good turnout for that, I think that worked out really good. Want to say thank you to the VFW and the auxiliaries being able to put this together, and remembering what it's all about, so kudos all the way around. For tonight, I do want to and I know I mentioned it earlier, but at 8 o'clock, it actually already started. But look out for Chef if you're recording or going into Food Network, Chef Mandy. She's done a lot of great things that started off here. We might have another person being recognized by a national network, which is pretty good. Reminder, public hearing next Monday. We actually have that for the taxes and then the discussion for the water rates. So please mark your calendars for us to meet here at 6:30. I'll be able to take care of that. Reminder that we have the shred, a paper shred opportunity on the 30th of September. Get the word out from 8:30 to 11 here at City Hall and ask folks to please remove the staples and the paper clips. That's on the 30th of September. That's a Saturday. So a lot of stuff happening on that day, but this is the first time that we're doing it. It's a great thing for the city. Matt working out with Chris with Waste Management and us doing that. So good opportunity for those. And this is only for those that are actually serviced through the city of Lidle. They'll have to show up with a utility bill to go ahead and do that. Update on the street paving. We're getting indication that it'll probably be the last week of September. These are the different streets inside the city limits, the ones that we awarded the contract to. We're still waiting for a timeline on the streets, and we'll get that out as soon as we get that from the contractor. Also, on that last week we got an indication. I called and talked to TxDOT, and it looks like there's a possibility that also in the last week of September, they're going to be working on the lane right in front, okay? Now, both that project and also the street paving, just so you know, they're looking at about a week. That's what they're saying. So the contractor for TxDOT that said they'll come in about a week and knock it all out. So we'll let you know if that still lines up.
Mayor, they were out there working today doing something, marking.
They've already cut where they're gonna be tearing everything up. You see our new driveway we're gonna have, it's gonna reduce, but.
Yeah, so they're starting. This should have been done, but unfortunately, we got it added on, okay? TxDOT is really helping us out. We got it added on to a project that is out on Highway 87. They got delayed, and that's the reason why we're this, but it's all, hey, free, it's worth and it's gonna make it a lot easier and a lot better for us. So, Matt, thank you for all the help with that. National Night Out on the 3rd of October, 6 to 8. Community Center, please spread the word. I think it's worked out doing it at the community center a lot better than over there. We're gonna have hot dogs?
So yes.
Well,
Richard,
that's our go-to.
Let's go for the hot dogs.
Yeah, so do you know if Lakeshore got scheduled to do National Night Out? Are they gonna do one the same night?
I have not heard, but we need to ask.
Chris,
Clouser,
lives out there, right?
yes, sir.
I'll give him a call.
Yeah, give him a call. Find out.
I know they're gonna be, the VFW's gonna, he said they were gonna be, traditionally, they did theirs on like the Saturday before. Oh, that's how they done it in
I'll
the
call
past.
Chris, he'll
Yeah.
know. I talked to him about it before. Thank you.
Good question. Birthdays, we got one in Public Works on the 27th of September. Really don't have a lot of birthdays inside the city in September. Interesting. Support our Pirates all the way across this coming Friday. We have the girls volleyball with West Campus. We got the boys football in Natalia, the Legacy Bowl. They're doing really good. So we need support out there to be able to help them out. And also our cross country on Saturday, they're going to Corpus Christi. They've been doing really good. Both the varsity and the JV teams have been doing really, really good. And they've been taking some of our junior high kids, and they're also, we got pretty good years in front of us. Yeah, she's been doing good. Everybody's been doing really good. So please go out there and support our Pirates with different things. We got other things that are coming up here in the near future too. Just a reminder for today, as we started, it's a day of remembrance, extra prayers tonight when we go to sleep for all those that we lost that day. And the families that were left behind. We had a lot of folks that actually took the rim, both emergency responders and military folks that responded on that same day. Within 24 hours, we were either on site or on the other side of the road, making a difference. So please take the time and make sure we put a little bit of extra thought in your prayers tonight for that. Any last minute thing? Anything else? All right, I do need Richie and Jesse if you can stay behind. Just got a few things to run with you. So right now, council, it's 8:31. If I can get a motion for us to adjourn.
I move that we adjourn, man.
Here, got a motion? Got a second? All those in favor? Aye. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Thank you for tonight. Great meeting. Got done. And don't forget, Paula brought some goodies.